Hi, got a piece of Fabriano £130 cold press paper here, 15 inches by 11. It's on the back of another demo. Most of my recent paintings are on the backs of demos that I don't particularly like. I move on, and what I painted a year ago I don't like now. I'm often asked if I sell my work. Yes, I do. If I can, if anybody's interested. I'm only in one small gallery. He's a framer, a friend, old friend. Goes back a long time to about 1996, 97. And he's sold loads of paintings over the years, but not so many these days. What he does is he has my loose paintings unframed, unmounted, in a folder or in a flip thing, a cradle, and if people like them, he'll frame them. He's very, very good. That's Sackville Frames, David Skingle in Stafford Road, Waddington. Give him a plug because he's an independent trader, very good what he does. But I used to sell through galleries in the West End or up in London Bridge, Cotton's Atrium, Hayes Gallery. I had exhibitions up there with a friend. Various other galleries, exhibitions. I'm going to an exhibition venue today, at a wedding, friend's wedding, and Denby's, Dorking. They've got some large vineyards there, and they make lots of lovely English wine and beer and other things. It's a superb building, lovely exhibition area. It's like on a mezzanine or gallery, four-sided gallery with a glass lift going up into it from the ground floor, with restaurants and cafeterias, conference rooms, an absolute great example of diversity. So we're looking forward to that this afternoon. But I'm just putting my time with some paintings, can't waste my time. So I'll wet the paper, I'll do a lake painting I think. Now the board is at a very shallow angle, so I hope the camera gets it right. My camera is a Canon camcorder and it has its shortcomings, but it was a gift and it's a very good little camera, even if sometimes the focus is... I've got an automatic focus in short play, which is... well, it seems all right for most things. Yeah, I get the odd complaint, but if you carry on with your complaints, I'd rather you pay for a camera that you think is suitable and send it to me. I'm also uploading videos to Patreon, but you have to pay a small amount of money to see those. I've got about 20 on there at the moment. Gives you a chance to show your appreciation for everything that I've done for free over 4.5 years. So that's the end of that ad. Right, okay, so we put a bit of raw sienna. I'm using a tray sent by Todd Sell from America. John Pike palette, really lovely. It's quite large, it's heavier than my normal hake palette. I've had to go to the surface. I tried using a couple of coats of acrylic. It didn't really work. Well, it wasn't that much better. But then I tried to scrape off the wretched stuff and it was murder. I gouged a couple of little bits on it. But I've roughed it up, gone back to smooth surface and roughed it up. And it seems to be working okay. Right, so we'll have a bit of blue, a bit of ultramarine. Also, let's have a bit of Windsor. Mix in with that ultramarine. Now some ultramarine and light red. You can see that the colours are, most of these are artist quality. some little clouds. Let's just get a bit darker on the top here. See what happens to that. We'll just drop in some down here. I'm using mostly Jackson's artist quality. I'll go through my palette for you. We've got burnt umber, that's Cockman. Burnt sienna, that's Jackson's. Raw sienna, that's Jackson's. Yellow ochre is Smoothie's homemade from Pigments, artist quality. Got cadmium yellow, light, medium, artist quality. Same Jackson's. Well, no, probably Winsor Newton, one of those. The ultramarine is Jackson's. The cobalt's Jackson's. That's Windsor blue. That's Winsor Newton. That's Payne's grey. That's Cotman. That's Hooker's green. That's Jackson's artist quality. Alizarin crimson. That's Winsor Newton artist quality. Light red, which is Cotman, is strong enough for that one. It doesn't have to be an artist quality. And cadmium red, which is artist quality again. Okay, so let's drop in a bit of mountainous. I'm using the large Mountain Hake. I'm doing this today, this one. I've done one for Patreon, a Lakeland view, so I'm doing one on YouTube. Okay, so it gets a bit harder on that left hand side. Come across there. So you can use this palette for the hake painting, but it's a bit heavier. And I'm just doing this as an experiment. I prefer the other palette with the Cotman for the hake paintings. Set up for it. This one I've used for my my round brush watercolours on good quality paper. I say good quality, this is good quality paper, there's nothing wrong with it, provided you don't use it for what it's not suitable for. And this is a lovely paper for wetting wet. It works, provided you don't overwork it. It's not very forgiving. So let's just get a bit more dark in there. I might risk bringing a bit of Winsor blue in some of the mixes in a minute. Right, I'll just reclip. There's no need to stretch your paper before using it. It works perfectly well by just stretching it with your fingers. Well, let's try Winsor blue now and a bit of cad yellow and a bit of burnt sienna. So let's just put some in there. Oops. Ooh. Okay, sorry for that. So I don't use enough Windsor yellow, Windsor blue. It's a very, very strong staining colour, but if you mix it with a bit of burnt sienna as well, which is also very strong, and you can get some sort of bluey distant trees. It's nice. So let's come in here. We have a bit of yellow in that. Yeah, down here. Drop some in there. Right, Windsor blue, burnt sienna. Okay, let's get a bit more dark there. Just dropping those in the wet paint. Okay. Okay, clean the brush. Just going to have a swig of tea. Never far from a cup of tea when you're painting. Right, okay, let's do a bit more landscape and down here, then we can detail some of that. Right. Bit too much water on there. Just some nice land coming to this estuary. Alright, let's get a bit of red in there. And some nice cadmium yellow. I could try lifting out a little bit, but I quite like that without me lifting out. But I will, because I always do. Just a little bit here and there. Because that's stained, maybe. I'll let that go. I think we're going to go for the rich colours here. Let's put a little bit of greeny stuff in there. Bit of dry brush. Hey, I'm beginning to like this lovely Windsor blue. Lovely, beautiful, cool, rich. That's not a contradiction. Now I'm using cool colours in the foreground, so we'll moderate that with some bits of burnt sienna. The Jackson's burnt sienna is quite a bit lighter in tone than the Winsor & Newton Cotman. Right, let's clean the Hague. I'm quite liking this. That's looking quite interesting. Let's just bring that down a little bit. We've got to put some detail in now. Now, that's misty and reflection, but I just wonder if I could lift out a shade on that. We'll try. Right, I use my 1/2 inch brush on that, and we'll just soften. Try to keep fingers out of the wet paint. Alright, let's see if we can get a ghostly little sailing. Oh, well, that's sort of coming out of the mist, isn't it? Lifting out is a great dodge. I want to put in a man, maybe a little boat, blue boat. I'll give that a bit of a try. Mute. Maybe some very faint little boats. Boats there. So okay, bit there. Right, put a couple of figures in. red. Okay, maybe his head's just a tiny bit small. Let's just go a little bit. That'll do. Right, let's get his legs going down a bit further into here. Don't want them walking on water, but okay. So just enjoying the early morning, or early morning sailors. Change the shape of those. Okay, a couple of birds. Less is more, that's my motto. But of course it depends what you're painting, isn't it? Okay, put it in a mount. We'll have a look at it. Also the angle. I quite like this angle. It gives me other possibilities of different effects. So there we go, I've got another one, wet in wet. A fabulous technique. So I hope you enjoyed that. Should I zoom in? So there we are, plenty of colour in that foreground. And letting the paint bleed into the wet. If you've got it upright or a steep angle, the paint just runs down. Destroys the random effect of dropping in colours. They're probably just a little bit heavy there, but I just filter space with those. That's those little boats. But these sails here, they show quite ghostly in the mist, or the mist rising from the lake. I'm not sure what I'll call this one. I'll think of a title. Let you watch that for a few seconds. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.